Good morning and welcome to the Mayor's 2016 State of the City Address. What a great crowd. Thank you all very much for being here today. Theologian Leonard Sweet said, "The future is not something we enter, the future is something we create." Today, I'd like to talk to you about Burlington's future. So I'm pleased to share that after more than a year of cooperation and collaboration between the committee, our community, City Council, and City staff, Burlington's 2015 to 2040 Strategic Plan is almost finalized. Staff is currently making final revisions based on much feedback we received in the first couple of months, or last month of the year and the first month of this year, and we expect to see a completed document to come to Council for final approval in the early spring. Our city is undergoing an important transition, one that some municipalities don't step up to. In addition to our core mandate of providing a range of critical city services, Council has decided to add a new mandate, and that is to actively city build. City building entails all of the tools available to Council. Bit of a bang here every time I move my arms anyway, on the mic. Anyway, I'll try to minimize that. But city building entails using all of the tools available to Council and working with partners to actively shape the physical, social, economic, and cultural fabric of our city. The new strategic plan is much different than past plans. It is a 25-year blueprint for city building and will be supported in more detail with the official plan, the transportation master plan, and the corporate work plan. Collectively, these plans will be setting ambitious, clear, and measurable targets for physical growth, sustainability, carbon neutrality, economic growth, changing how people move around the city and how we engage with the public. Burlington is one of the first Southern Ontario municipalities to stop sprawling and instead grow in place, something many other municipalities will be faced with in the next decade or two. We're leading the way and are the poster child for David Crombie's recent report on how municipalities in Southern Ontario should be evolving. And as we stop sprawling, we are now going to focus more deliberately on a rural area throughout the strategic plan and the official plan. In preparation, we are actively changing our internal management structures, planning processes, and where necessary, skills and resources to support this new agenda. There are 4 key directions outlined in our new strategic plan, and you have a copy of them at your table. A city that grows, a city that moves, a healthy and greener city, and an engaging city. Today, I'll talk about these directions, highlight the objectives in each section, and discuss achievements of the past year related to the 4 strategic themes. A city that grows is one where Burlington is a magnet for talent, good jobs, and economic opportunity, while having achieved intensification and balanced targeted population growth for youth, families, newcomers, and seniors. I believe that economic development is the key to a vibrant, prosperous Burlington, whether 5 or 25 years into the future. Our results in 2015 have been steady. Our key metrics are in line. However, vacant employment land supply is very low, and we are working to activate key employment lands to provide some much-needed inventory for business to locate. We're also working through our official plan and recognizing that with over 88% of our employment land already in use, and a large portion of this development more than 50 years old, we need policies to support redevelopment of these employment areas. Several expansions took place last year, most notably Cogen and Everts, with significant physical expansions. There are many others in our community with aggressive growth plans, and many of you are in this room. We are working on a number of office and industrial developments for 2016, and we expect to continue to meet our targets in the short term. As the global economy becomes more and more connected, innovation and globalization are critical to our future. With global competition and the race to low labor costs, our businesses must innovate and utilize new and emerging technologies, supply chains, and intellectual property to prosper. Cities and governments around the world recognize this. Investments in innovation and industry coordination are increasing in certain jurisdictions around the world. Germany and Australia, for example, have introduced Industry 4.0 and are investing more than 70 billion euros to ensure that manufacturers are operating at the leading edge. The United Kingdom, United States, and many others are moving in that direction. The province of Ontario is recognized as one of the best places to start a business. We are not, however, having the success we need growing those businesses. Data shows that 75% of new jobs come from new businesses, primarily between year 2 and 7 of operations. So recognizing these trends, our focus for economic development is shifting. Traditionally, we have focused on retaining the businesses we have, and that is still critically important. But going forward, we will be focusing on supporting startup and growth businesses, developing a regional employment and innovation district which better reflects the work environment companies are looking for and is connected to our highway and public transit network. Supporting population growth and initiatives to attract and retain the talent we need to have, which includes youth, young families, and professionals, and a more welcoming environment for newcomers. Improving our transit connectivity to employment areas, including looking beyond our borders, is critical. After all, almost 35,000 people go back and forth every day between Hamilton and Burlington going to work, one way or the other. We will work with our post-secondary education partners to ensure that employers have the talent that they need and that we as a community are taking advantage of the more than 10,000 annual graduates from our local institutions. We are currently working with Mohawk, Sheridan, McMaster, and Brock to provide better access to research and development for local business. Within the coming months, the group will be finishing the 4th floor of the Ron Joyce Center. This will be the home of the new Michael G. DeGroot Health Leadership Academy, as well as a Center for Evidence-Based Management. McMaster's DeGroot School of Business is also launching their new Executive MBA program in digital transformation this year. In 2016, we will continue to work with industry, education, and senior levels of government to support the development of an advanced manufacturing hub right here in Burlington, which will assist manufacturers not only in Burlington, but over Halton and Southern Ontario in becoming more competitive globally. We have a strong, diversified local economy. We will continue to support this and invest in the future to ensure prosperity in the long term. Intensification is another key aspect of the future of our city outlined in the proposed strategic plan. To understand intensification, which is the greater concentration of people living and or working in a defined area, we need to understand what factors are influencing the future of Burlington. And I've said this many times before. When Cheryl and I got together, we took a 3-bedroom house, turned it into a 7-bedroom house for all our daughters. Now that truly was intensification. So Burlington is built out. There is very little room left for that traditional greenfield suburban type development. 50% of Burlington is rural, agricultural, natural greenbelt, and the vast majority of people that I talked to wanted to stay that way. North Aldershot, Mount Nemo, Lowville, and Kilbride areas house the Bruce Trail, Lillville Park, and the Coots Escarpment Eco Park system, and many other natural features. And as the greater Golden Horseshoe area becomes more urbanized, the importance of maintaining these assets will only magnify. Primarily because of immigration, 150,000 people moved to the greater Golden Horseshoe area. That's the area between Oshawa and Niagara, all the way up to Barrie, and includes KW and Cambridge and Guelph. Within that area, 150,000 people move to that area each and every year. That's equivalent to the city the size of Barrie moving to the greater Golden Horseshoe area. And that's going to result in 3.7 million new residents and 1.8 million new jobs in the next 25 years. The Ontario government released the Places to Grow plan for the greater Golden Horseshoe in 2006, defining how we should accommodate this growth. At Halton Region, we agreed to accept growth of 315,000 people and 175,000 jobs by 2031, recognizing that we're going to end up around 780,000 as the Halton Region by 2031, with our best planning estimates stating that Oakville will grow to 246,000, Milton will grow to 228,000, Halton Hills to 91,000, and Burlington 186,000. And I suggest we're not all that far from 186,000 now. Our census number 5 years ago was 176,000, and we'll know by this time next year, after the census is completed this year, how many people actually live in Burlington. There's no question we're going to blow through 186,000 by 2031. So in a city that is out of traditional greenfield land, where 50% of our city is protected greenbelt, the next question is, where do we grow? So downtown is an urban growth center in the Ontario Places to Grow plan, and it is targeted to have approximately 200 jobs and residents per hectare by 2031. You don't need to think about the math behind that. All I want to say is we're 2/3 of the way there to that objective, and we believe we will meet that objective. Our official plan also identifies other sites around the city for intensification, such as Uptown, which is on Appleby Line between Mainway and Upper Middle Road. The Fairview Plains Road corridor presents great opportunity. When we talk about the transformation of Plains Road through intensification, it is important to recognize the leadership and vision of Councillor Rick Craven, who is guiding this transition of this 1950s and 1960s suburban highway to a major urban street. We are fortunate in Burlington to have 3 GO stations, Aldershot, Burlington, and Appleby, which all present wonderful opportunities for compact mixed-use neighborhoods in close proximity to the GO stations. And then we have aging plazas in our city, aging retail plazas, not just in the south, but in the north as well, like Roseland, Eastway, and Lakeside, to name a few, that all represent great opportunities for intensification and redevelopment, and again, creating that more walkability, greater walkability. Recognizing that Burlington and certain areas will change, we do anticipate that 80% of our existing neighborhoods in our urban area will not experience significant change. One of the things I like to ponder is that if we take provincial policies out of the picture, what makes sense when it comes to residential growth for Burlington? Would we intensify? Would we grow internally regardless of provincial growth policy? According to city planner and former Vancouver chief planner Brent Todderan, the advantages of creating more density, if done well, are facilitating more affordable housing choices, curbing the negative impacts of sprawl, mitigating climate change, dramatically decreasing energy costs, increasing energy independence, making walking, biking, and transit more inviting, improving public health, diversity, creativity, safety, and vibrancy. These advantages are possible if density is created in an appropriate manner. I'd like to note that Brent Todderan is our keynote speaker at the next Inspire Burlington event on February 11th at the Royal Botanical Gardens. I encourage you to join us for an engaging evening around great city building. And that's the morning of Gord Krantz's State of the Town address at the Rattlesnake Point Golf Club, which I'll be at your event, Gord, and thank you for coming this morning. So I'm going to show you some slides, but before I do that, I've got to take a drink of water. The disclaimer says, the following images are conceptual renderings that are provided for discussion purposes only as part of the current strategic plan review. The images do not present any proposed development application, nor is it necessary to represent of the scale, height, density, or design that is permitted or would be permitted by the city or on any lands now or in the future, through amendment to the city's official plan and or zoning bylaw. It sounds like a pharmaceutical commercial. So anyway, nothing is carved in stone here. It's just ideas. It's just concepts. So there we have the area of Plains Road and Waterdown Road, looking up Waterdown Road from Plains Road, and you see what's there now. So let's see the next slide. So this represents what that area could look like based on our current zoning. And you see transit-friendly infrastructure, you see cycling infrastructure, you see widened sidewalks and nice connection with the street and the retail shops on the ground floor. Let's see the next one. So this is enhanced zoning, which has a lot more height and density, and that has the same opportunity as well, just a little more of it. I should point out that Councillor Craven, where is he? Every week, Rick, if not every day, you hear from West Aldershot residents about the lack of a grocery store in Aldershot because there was one. Remember the Dominion store years ago? Well, people want it back, and we all understand that. But the population of Aldershot has sort of de-intensified over the years, and now it's growing again. So Rick has really dug into the issue. He's met with a lot of the chains, and the thing is the economics don't work. The market's not big enough. And within 6 kilometers of the intersection of Waterdown Road and Plains Road, there are 6 grocery stores. So the economics don't work. So if we want a grocery store in Aldershot, if we are able to implement that, we'll get a grocery store in Aldershot, which is one of the advantages of intensification as you get more amenities and more services. Brent Todderan also writes that what really matters is how you grow big, not how big you grow. Most cities perceive that growth is a positive thing when done well, supporting such civic goals as improving affordability, enhancing ecological sustainability, supporting social equity and choice, and stimulating creativity and economic development. I'm very pleased. We are improving our conversations about density in Burlington, and we will continue to connect and engage with the community, soliciting input on how we grow. But in order to grow within our urban boundary, we need to be assured that our infrastructure can handle the growth. Since the flood of August the 4th, 2014, the City of Burlington and Halton Region have stepped up our focus on stormwater and wastewater management. As a result of thorough analysis and extensive reports completed by both the City and the region, we have committed a total of more than $120 million over the next 10 years to improve our resiliency in the event of extreme weather. The next direction of the strategic plan is a city that moves, is where people and goods move through the city more efficiently and safely. A city that moves offers a variety of convenient, affordable, and green forms of transportation that align with regional travel patterns. This is a city that features walkability within new and transitioning neighborhoods as well as our downtown. We are investing $300 million over the next 10 years in our roads in the City of Burlington, and Halton Region is investing a lot as well, including projects on road reconstruction, resurfacing, and intersection widening. However, moving forward, we are shifting our focus on moving people through more sustainable modes of travel that do not rely exclusively on the automobile. 90% of all trips made on a weekday within our city, which number more than 260,000, are made by the automobile. Furthermore, 50% of these trips are 5 kilometers or less. Walkable trips are considered to be 2 kilometers or less, and bikeable trips, if there is such a word, are considered to be within the 2 to 5 kilometer range. These are ideal distances to cycle, walk, or hop on a Burlington Transit bus, including to and from our 3 GO stations. On Monday, I had a meeting at the Burlington Senior Center, and normally I would have just hopped in the car from City Hall. It's not far. I walked. It was 1.5 kilometers. It was 12.5 minutes each way. What a great way to break up the day, get a little exercise, burn off a few calories, so I can have another craft beer at night. Thanks, Bruce, for mentioning that. You may not be surprised, but the calories that are in craft beer are quite significant. You really have to be moderate in how much you drink. I want to mention Councillor Dennison, who is on the cycling committee and a great advocate for cycling. He can be found cycling to events in the city throughout the whole year. In fact, you can see Jack going around our Great Lakes. In the last 3 years, he's gone around 3 Great Lakes on his bike with his partner Jackie. Long term, we are looking to implement a complete streets vision. This vision will be part of an integrated plan that will see on and off-road bike lanes, sidewalks, multi-use paths and trails, and public transit well connected and coordinated. Complete streets will make Burlington more walkable and bikeable, support investments in transit, foster social engagement and community pride, support the local economy and property values, and improve the livability and long-term sustainability of our region. Burlington will be a better place to live and work, realizing that long-term savings from improved public health and safety, environmental stewardship, social mobility, and transportation equity. Speaking of transit, we are expecting full implementation of our transit intelligence transportation system within the coming months. And among the features are a website, enhanced website, a trip planning function, real-time information, and stop announcements. Creating walkable neighborhoods directly relates to a city that moves and a city that grows. Noted American urban planner Jeff Speck notes that a walk has to satisfy 4 main conditions. It must be useful, safe, comfortable, and interesting. When I ask people what they like most about living downtown, what do you think I hear? It's because you can walk everywhere. You can walk to the waterfront. You can have a nice recreational walk. You can walk to the art gallery and the museum, to the Performing Arts Center. You can walk to different shops. You can walk to restaurants and cafes and pubs. You can get your will done. You can pre-plan your funeral. There are so many things you can do in downtown Burlington. And Councillor Meade Ward is a great advocate for walkability. In fact, she walks to City Hall every day. She chose to live in that area because she can walk to work every day. So one of our objectives is to create more opportunities throughout the whole city where people can walk to work. Our mobility hubs offer significant potential for intensification and walkability. These are places of connectivity where different modes of transportation, from walking to commuter rail, come together seamlessly. There are currently 3,500 customers using the Burlington GO station on a given weekday. The addition of about 950 residential units between the Walmart and the Burlington GO station on Fairview further transform this area into a more walk-friendly, cycle-friendly, and transit-friendly neighborhood that also includes office and retail. For younger people, what a great place to live. It'll be more affordable, and if you do business in Toronto, you can just hop on the GO train, and with easy access to Toronto and Points East, as well as eventually, we'll see that GO line expanded to Hamilton all-day service, Judy, we hope so. And within 10 years, that Lakeshore GO West line will be electrified and will have 15-minute service. So as I mentioned, this development is great for first-time homebuyers as well as aging baby boomers who are looking for an opportunity to downsize at a good price. The next direction is a healthy and greener city, which is one in which the City of Burlington is a leader in the stewardship of the environment while encouraging healthy lifestyles. In this area, I believe we are ahead of other municipalities with our community energy plan, as well as our vast array of parks, recreation facilities, and programming. According to the respondents of our online survey about the draft strategic plan, a healthy and greener city was ranked the most important of the 4 key directions. Our health is obviously our greatest asset. But last week, NASA confirmed that 2015 was our planet's warmest year since record-keeping began in 1880. While there was a major El Niño weather system last year, this dubious milestone was largely driven by man-made climate change. And 15 of the top 16 warmest years have occurred since the year 2000. And we all know, just in the Burlington experience, you don't have to go much farther than that, with our flood of 2014 and with our ice storm that was all throughout the GTA around Christmas of 2013, weather is becoming warmer, wetter, and wilder, and we need to be prepared. Going back to Brent Todderan's comments, the potential advantage of creating more density is making walking, cycling, and transit more appealing, which fosters improved public health. Healthy living in Burlington is supported by a well-planned city with walkable neighborhoods featuring good access to parks and recreational facilities. We will ensure every resident lives within a short distance of parks or recreational spaces, creating multi-use parks and green space and supporting this great asset that we have, the Bruce Trail. The city's approximate 50-50 split between rural and urban settings has positioned us as a city rich in outdoor recreational space. Good programming at top-level recreational facilities also promotes healthy living. Last January, for example, we opened, where's Councillor Taylor? He's around somewhere out there he is. So last year, we opened a revitalized Mountainside Recreation Center, which features an arena, outdoor pool, and community space. The center, and this is what Councillor Taylor envisioned for this, the center has become a drop-in center for the neighborhood and a community center. And on every Friday night, there's over 200 youth that come to the No Socks for Ivan program. Why No Socks for Ivan? Because they wanted it to be called No Socks for Ivan. Late last year, Council also approved a rebuild of Nelson Pool at a cost of approximately $5 million. That asset's been around in the community for 50 years. It ran out of steam, and unfortunately it's going to be closed for a year or two. The updated facility is going to cost about $5 million and it's scheduled to open in 2018, hopefully earlier if construction can go well. Related to a healthy city and an engaging city, a new initiative created by the city that I'm really excited about this winter, maybe would have been more excited last winter because of colder weather, is the neighborhood rink program. Might have been too cold to be outside last year. This year the weather hasn't cooperated. Anyway, we'll find a balance at some point. But the plan was to have 16 parks with 18 neighborhood rinks for the 2015-16 winter season. Right now, I understand 9 to 10 are in operation. And this supports our Parks and Recreation mantra, which is live and play every day. The rink program was inspired by a gentleman by the name of Jim Dyers, as a community builder from Seattle. He was their first director of neighborhoods, and he worked with our staff on neighborhood power. We were inspired by Jim's work, staff and council, and on Monday night at the budget, we approved $80,000 for community investment for the next 2 years as a pilot project. This funding will support residents and groups of neighbors in enhancing city space by adding a park feature, creating an event, or starting a new program. I had the good fortune to grow up in Burlington. I grew up in Roseland in the 1960s and in the 70s. And I spoke recently to the Roseland Community Organization. And I reminisced a little bit about growing up in Roseland, but I made a list of all the different families I knew as a kid growing up. There were 60 families. There was only about 220 homes in Roseland, and I knew 60 families. And I fast forward to today. The commute times are longer than they were in the 60s. More likely, there's 2 people working in every household, both mom and dad. We are more connected via technology than in person. So the investment in building community and connectivity with our neighborhoods is critical to maintain our quality of life. We will grow, and it's important that we maintain that small town feel as much as we can as we grow and as we urbanize. Burlington is also one of 45 communities across Ontario taking part in the Healthy Kids Community Challenge. The city will receive up to $1.1 million in one-time funding from April 2015 to March of 2018 to promote children's health through physical activity and healthy eating. Just what I mentioned, the children don't get outside as much, they don't walk to school as much, they don't bike to school as much. Healthy living is also connected to a good community health care, or to good community health care. City of Burlington has committed $60 million to the redevelopment of the Joseph Brant Hospital and expansion, and that is the city's largest investment in any non-city facility in the history of our community. The groundbreaking took place last March for the redevelopment and expansion project, second phase, which is a new 7-story patient tower. When construction of the tower is complete in 2017, Joseph Brant Hospital will feature 172 inpatient beds, a new emergency department, a larger cancer clinic, 9 new operating rooms, expanded medical, surgical, and outpatient services, and much more. Every year, Joseph Brant Hospital treats more than 250,000 patients each year. The hospital opened in 1961. I had my tonsils out in 1964. Nobody did. But has not had a major renovation since 1971. I do want to thank the provincial government for their significant investment that will cover approximately 2/3, if not more, of the total cost of the project. Good news. The Joseph Brant Hospital Foundation has been making great progress towards the foundation's objective and requirement of raising $60 million. To date, the foundation has raised $48 million, thanks in part to significant donations last year from the Joyce Foundation, Voortman Cookies, and Longless Family Charitable Foundation. A healthy and greener city encourages sustainable projects. Our Community Gardens program has been well received by the community, and we are looking to continue to grow it. Burlington City Council also appreciates the support of Halton Regional Council with regard to the Burlington Beach Regional Waterfront Park Master Plan, and I thank Gary and Gordon Robb for their support. The development of this park will enhance the whole region, not just the region of Halton, but the whole Hamilton-Halton region. The park features a natural sand beach that is part of a unique landform called a Baymouth Bar. It is home to provincially and regionally rare plant and animal species. And the estimated cost of that is $51 million, or more than $51 million. It'll take 5 to 10 years to do much of the work, but it'll take 20 to 25 years to do all of the work. And last summer, I was cycling on the Beachway Park one Sunday morning, and I was pulled over by somebody I knew, a senior, who complimented the vision of the city and the region and council for our vision with the long-term plans for the Beachway. And he said he may not be around to see it finished, but certainly his children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren would be there to see it. The ongoing implementation and updates of the Community Energy Plan are integral to moving forward as a city on environmental leadership. This past year, we had a number of accomplishments connected to our Community Energy Plan, Burlington Hydro's cogeneration pilot project, our first electric vehicle charging station on city property, and there are many more to come. The Inspire Burlington, Take Action Burlington event, which had former Toronto Mayor David Miller, who's currently the president of the World Wildlife Fund for Canada. And we are also in the process of completing phase 1 of our community energy system feasibility study. The study is looking at opportunities for more efficient and sustainable local generation of thermal energy with electrical generation. Long term, we are looking to continue moving forward on environmental leadership through a variety of initiatives such as city operations that are carbon neutral, increasing our urban forest and tree canopy, and continuing to preserve our rural area. And we continue to be proud partners in the Coots to Escarpment Eco Park system. This is a collaboration between 10 local government and nonprofit organizations to protect, restore, and connect more than 9,600 acres of natural lands at the western end of Lake Ontario. As David Suzuki said, I can't imagine anything more important than air, water, soil, energy, and biodiversity. These are the things that keeps us alive. Excuse me. In a city that engages, community members are engaged, empowered, welcomed, and well served by their city. Culture and community activities thrive, creating a positive sense of place, inclusivity, and community. Our vision of an engaged city builds on the foundation we have laid since our engagement charter was approved by Council in 2013. We created and launched the Get Involved page for all things citizen engagement on the city's new website. This includes our online platforms. We've got great opportunities for people that do not have time to go to meetings to sign up for Let's Talk Burlington or Insight Burlington. And there's also a Get Involved calendar and volunteer opportunities. In the past year, we engaged thousands of residents online on a variety of topics like the Transportation Master Plan, community gardens, the Strategic Plan, the budget, intensification, and parking. One of the highlights last year, in my view, of community engagement was a meeting that Councillor Charman hosted with regard to the redevelopment of Lakeside Plaza, and Paul is doing a great job championing that particular redevelopment and engaging the community. At Bateman High School, more than 300, I say it was about 350 people showed up to participate in a visioning exercise of what they want their neighborhood to be in the future, and recognize that Lakeside Plaza is a great opportunity for redevelopment that the community and the neighborhood is supportive of. It goes without saying that a major priority for Council and staff is balancing increasing services and investments with the need for responsible tax rate increases. Our capital budget was approved in December, and the operating budget was approved Monday night at Council. When combined with the Halton region and the school boards, the overall property tax increase is 2%, and the number is inclusive of a 3.14% increase in the city's portion. The city increase of 3.14% is broken down as follows. A base budget increase of 1.28%, that is significantly less than the Consumer Price Index. 1.44% increase dedicated to the renewal of the city's infrastructure, and almost a 0.5% increase to increase service levels in areas such as winter maintenance, bylaw enforcement, and stormwater management. And I'm very pleased that Council is extremely supportive of addressing our $145 million infrastructure gap. Staff has developed a plan that we are supportive of. We're going to stick to the plan going forward, and it'll take us some time. The next 15 to 20 years, we will completely eliminate that gap. The 2016 budget marks the second year the city presented the operating budget in a service-based format. Under this format, business plans are developed for all 37 of the services provided by the city. We will continue to strive towards annual property tax rate increases that are responsible to current and future taxpayers, as well as reflect inflationary increases, infrastructure renewal, and increased service investments. Building strong relationships with other governments also moves us towards our goals as a city. Federal infrastructure investment, which we are 100% supportive of, is a key priority of the new government under Prime Minister Trudeau. It seems like it's back to the future when you say Prime Minister Trudeau. Property taxes in Ontario are already the highest in the country. So we also welcome the federal investment in identified priorities around affordable housing, public transit, and climate change mitigation and adaptation. And I look forward to working with our three members of Parliament in Burlington, Karina Gould, who represents 2/3 of Burlington, Pam Damoff, the other third, as well as North Oakville, and Lisa Raitt. Lisa Raitt represents the riding of Milton, but the riding of Milton includes rural North Burlington. In fact, last week, Chair Gary Carr hosted a meeting with all 5 mayors and all 5 MPs from Halton discussing the priorities for Halton region in a federal context going forward. Recognizing that municipalities are a provincial responsibility, it is only natural I have regular contact with our members of provincial parliament, Eleanor McMahon, who's here with us this morning, and Indira Naidu-Harris on a wide range of issues, including transit and transportation, environment, and municipal legislation. Meanwhile, the cities of Burlington and Hamilton are involved in discussion through our city managers on a number of different fronts. The 2 mayors and members of council, including Judy Partridge, who's here with us today, also meet as the Greater Bay Area Subcommittee to discuss areas of common interest. It is noteworthy that for this year, the Burlington and Hamilton Chambers of Commerce are hosting the 2nd annual Bay Area Economic Summit in June, after the success of the one last year. This term of council, I played a leading role with the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. I currently serve as chair of the Large Urban Caucus and chair of the Climate Change Task Force. I am also on the Memorandum of Understanding team, which meets regularly with the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing and other members of provincial cabinet discussing proposed changes to policy and legislation affecting all 444 municipalities across the province of Ontario. And I must say the vantage point I get from being on the board and executive of AMO and seeing what goes on in other cities and towns and villages, I am grateful, and I think Gord and Gary and Rob are too. We're grateful that we represent the areas we do of the western part of the GTA and in the Halton region. As the city of Burlington grows and will continue to do so over the coming decades, we are diversifying. It is essential to foster a Burlington where everyone feels welcome, regardless of age, race, gender, or sexual orientation. Councillor Blair Lancaster represents one of our most culturally diverse wards. She is focused on creating a strong sense of belonging in neighborhoods in her ward, as well as citywide through her role on the Inclusivity Advisory Committee. The ongoing initiative of Burlington groups sponsoring Syrian refugees and the outpouring of support is an example of the embodiment of the engagement and inclusivity we have in Burlington. Thanks to city investment and the dedication of so many people, including boards and staff and members of the arts and culture community, I believe we are starting to fully realize the tremendous assets we have right here in our city. Last year, during the fourth year of full operation for the Burlington Performing Arts Center, there were more than 600 uses booked last year, in excess of 100,000 visitors. Based on a recent economic study done a couple years ago, the Arts Center, Performing Arts Center, generates $7.8 million in annual economic activity with room to grow. It also serves as a great world-class venue for our many local groups, with, of course, the Burlington Teen Tour Band, Symphony on the Bay, Tottering Biped Theatre, and Burlington Student Theatre. And Suzanne Haynes became the center's new executive director last year. The Art Gallery of Burlington saw another good year with new leadership from Robert Stephen as the new president and CEO. There were 45,000 visitors to exhibitions, not including visitors from facility rentals. There were also 24 exhibitions in their 5 gallery spaces last year. And the Burlington Museums connected with a large number of young people, in particular through their education programming. Almost 5,000 young people, children, visited the museums through their camps and school and youth education programs. You know, you think with the advent of the internet that people don't need a library as much. Wrong. The Burlington Public Library had catered to 1.1 million visits last year, and there's 7 branches across the city. The library loaned out nearly 2 million items last year, which is the equivalent of each resident in Burlington borrowing 10 to 11 items. Last year marked a historic moment for the City of Burlington's public art program, where 6 murals were unveiled by 7 local artists at one time in December last year. And I encourage you to go see these murals across the city. In my view, public art is very important for a city. They really enhance the sense of place, connectivity, and create conversations. There are also numerous festivals and events that showcase our city and boost our local economy. Hundreds of thousands of people come from near and far to take in events like the Sound of Music Festival, Canada's largest Rib Fest, the Children's Festival, and the Canada Day festivities. Arts and culture have been the cornerstone of society, I'm almost out of steam here, almost out of time as well. Arts and culture have been a cornerstone of societies throughout history, and they will continue to be so in Burlington as we look forward. Canadian scientists said it best: there is no society ever discovered in the remotest corner of the world that has not had something we would consider the arts. Perhaps what I'm most excited about is that council and the community have come together to create a vision of what Burlington can be in the future. Listen as they tell you their vision for Burlington that they view in the future in their own words. Welcome to the City of Burlington's 25-year strategic plan. After a year of community input, this plan captures what's important to the people of Burlington as we reach the year 2040. We'll be a city that grows, a city that moves, a healthy and greener city, an engaging city, and I hope you're as excited as I am as we take this journey together.
Burlington, we're a city that grows. We're planning where and how we'll grow in the next 25 years, strengthening the economy through targeted growth and creating walkable neighborhoods.
Neighborhoods are increasingly walkable with a great range of housing options for everyone. This allows folks to leave their cars at home and walk to the amenities like services and schools, churches, and to public transit.
Burlington is a city that grows, and we will protect what makes Burlington special, like our heritage in Freeman Station. These residents will tell you one thing they love about Burlington.
Spencer Smith Park, great schools,
landscape,
the escarpment,
lake views,
history, walkability,
lifestyle,
heritage,
quality of life,
accessibility, great businesses, vibrant downtown.
Yay, Burlington!
A city that grows means that more people that live in Burlington can work in Burlington. It means that Burlington can attract startups and growing businesses.
Access to primary care is one of the cornerstones of a vibrant and healthy community. We here in Burlington are exceptionally fortunate to have access to great primary care and specialist care. The Burlington Family Health Team is an excellent example of that. Together with our partners at Joseph Brant Hospital, the City of Burlington, and McMaster University, we're able to provide state-of-the-art, world-class care while still providing close relationships with our primary care providers.
Well, the Burlington campus is the graduate program of the Groot School of Business. McMaster University is a hub of greatness. By connecting employers and employees, we're providing the employees of the future. Those employees attract businesses to Burlington. It's those businesses and the people we train that produce economic growth.
Burlington is a city that moves. Our city will have better traffic flows within the city and the region. With help from improved public transportation, we'll get people and goods where they need to be more quickly and easily.
Burlington will be a leader in protecting the environment and will encourage healthy lifestyles. Parks and trails will be linked to the places where we all live and play.
My role as a Burlington Transit Youth Ambassador is to bring transit promotions to my students at Notre Dame, and it gives them confidence and courage to ride the buses.
On Burlington's Integrated Transportation Advisory Committee, we want to help people in Burlington get around safely. Residents like me advise City Council on how to create and maintain a seamless transportation system that includes walking, cycling, public transit, driving, and the transport of goods.
Burlington is a healthy and greener city. We'll have better environmental outcomes that will improve our quality of life, and we'll continue to focus on healthy partnerships within the community.
Burlington is blessed by having the Niagara Escarpment, the Green Belt, and the Bruce Trail as part of our natural heritage system. In fact, half the land area of Burlington is rural. The strategic plan and our official plan work with our partners, the province of Ontario and the region of Halton, will help to continue to protect this area while we work to make food production more sustainable.
Burlington's community gardens are growing and flourishing thanks to a commitment from the city to support a very popular program. There's going to be more garden plots across the city so more people will have access to public land and parks that grow their own fresh, healthy food.
Burlington is a caring city where neighbors help neighbors rise above challenges and support those most vulnerable in our community. The Burlington Community Foundation partners with you to invest in a strong and thriving city in which to live, work, and play for everyone. We help build legacies that contribute to a healthy and strong community.
Burlington Hydro is thrilled to be involved with the Community Energy Plan with the City of Burlington. Is a fantastic partner. You see behind us one of our 3 initiatives, which is a cogeneration facility that helps to heat this building and generate electricity. We're also pursuing, with Council's support, electrification of vehicles, another goal within the City of Burlington. And our last piece is conservation and demand management, which is one of our largest customers being the City of Burlington. We're trying to promote the use of LEDs through their streetlight initiative.
Burlington is an engaging city. We'll increase our connection to one another through cultural and civic activities, neighborhood projects, as well as through recreation.
We need to build what we call community capacity so that we get to know our neighbors, we get to perform activities together, we engage our religious groups, our faith groups, and everybody we can involve in getting to know each other and build trusting relationships so that we can help our community improve and make life better.
Our city is changing and growing, and many newcomers have made Burlington their home. As we've welcomed them, we have been able to embrace their culture and make diversity a part of the weave of our fabric of our city. Burlington is an inclusive city.
I'm coming from a predominantly South Asian city. Before I moved to Burlington, I found that Burlington welcomed me with open arms. As part of a member of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, I'm free to express my faith and practice and principles. The people of Burlington have been great. They welcome me, they say hello to me on the streets, and I feel very welcome and part of a community here.
Stop, look, and listen. That's our approach to community engagement. We stop assuming that we know what it is that people need, and instead we look for opportunities to listen. So that's why you see library staff at local events, in your neighborhood, and on social media, connecting with you through community conversations. Because the best thing about Burlington Public Library is our public.
Burlington is currently completing its last suburban greenfield neighborhood in the Alton community. Half of our city is rural, and we want it to stay that way. This means we're looking to grow within our urban boundary at key sites like our GO stations. I'm here at the Burlington GO station where 5 buildings will be constructed, featuring more than 900 residential units as well as space for commercial and office uses. The price point of these units allows our younger residents to get a toehold in the Burlington real estate market. These units are also right at the Burlington GO station, allowing residents living here to hop on a green form of transportation to Toronto. Downtown Burlington is also accessible by foot, bike, or bus. This type of development at the Burlington GO station aligns with our vision of a city that grows, a city that moves, in a healthy and greener city. Let's work together to continue building a great city. So just to wrap up, what do we want Burlington to be in 25 years? We want to be a city that grows, a city that moves, a healthy and greener city, and a city that engages. So let's work together to make our great city even greater, and I wish you all the best for the continuation of a prosperous, healthy, and fulfilling 2016. Thank you very much for being here this morning.